This is a keratin smoothing treatment touch-up. I'm applying the keratin solution to the new growth, the hair at the root. She has about a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch of new growth. I shampooed her with the step 1 ionic cleanser. That left the hair really dry and tangly, but no problem. Once you put the keratin solution on the hair, you'll be able to comb through like butter. There'll be no snags and no snarls. You'll see here that I'm going through with a wide tooth comb first to detangle. And this is the final result. I wanted to give you a little teaser. The video on the right, the image on the right is the final result, is the after. The video on the left is us starting the keratin smoothing process. After detangling the hair with a wide tooth comb, I go in with a fine tooth comb and I focus on that new growth. I'm combing the solution through the hair and I'm focusing on that 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch of new growth. I'm distributing the keratin solution all throughout her hair. And that is how you apply the keratin treatment. You go through with 1/2 inch partings, 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch, depending on how dense the hair is. The denser the hair, the smaller the partings. The thinner the hair, the wider you can make the partings. But I wouldn't make them any wider than 1/2 inch. I'm focusing on the nape area and her lower back. That is the kinkiest part of her hair. So I'm using a little extra solution. I'm combing through a few more times, smoothing and distributing the product. This is a keratin smoothing treatment touch-up. I'm going to show you in just a second where you can see where the previously processed hair that was bleached is much straighter than that new growth hair. And this is her original natural hair texture. It is so thick and so dense that we have to use a keratin treatment just so she can maintain it herself. I sectioned the hair into 6 panels and I placed a plastic cap over the panels that I won't be working on. The section of hair that I'm not going to be blow drying, I have it covered under the plastic so that it doesn't dry out. You want the hair to be moist, pliable, and you want the solution to surround the hair strands. You don't want the solution to dry on the hair before you've had an opportunity to stretch the hair with the keratin solution on it. After the hair color and with the keratin on the hair, it's extremely fragile. So you want to use really good tools. I'm using these ionic ceramic hair brushes to dry the keratin solution onto the hair. They have rubber handles and the bristles are really soft. You can rub it against your cheek and it won't even scratch. So that means it won't even tear and break the hair strands. You can buy the brushes on our platform at beautywellnesshaircare.com. They're ionic, which helps with drying the hair faster. It also eliminates frizz and flyaway hair. And the ceramic, it's coated with ceramic so that it helps conduct the heat better from the flat iron to smooth and polish the hair. I use many different sizes of brushes throughout the keratin blow drying process. I use the larger brushes to smooth and to dry the mid shaft and the ends because that hair is more fragile. And when the hair is wet, it's most fragile. To protect the health of the hair, you want to use ceramic and ionic tools, ceramic flat irons and ionic blow dryers. The whole keratin smoothing treatment process can be really hot and uncomfortable for the client. So I always use these ear cuffs, right? You put them on the ear and they help protect the ears from chemicals like relaxers and hair colors. It protects the ears from the heat of the blow dryer. It also protects the ears from the flat iron. You can buy these ear cuffs, these ear covers on our platform at beautywellnesshaircare.com. After I get the mid shaft and ends sufficiently dry, I go in with a smaller brush to stretch out the new growth. As I move to the front left panel, I begin by making vertical slice partings. I'm continuing to roll the brush as I stretch the hair and use the dryer to follow. I switch to the smaller size brush to get to the roots, and I use the larger brush to smooth the ends. Our intent during this blow dry process is to dry the keratin solution onto the hair strands. The keratin treatments, the solution, it envelops each hair strand with nourishing amino acids that smooth, seal, and protect the cuticle layers. Now, in the keratin that I'm using in this situation, the keratin will only attach itself to the abraded sites along the hair strand. Okay, the excess keratin will just rinse off at the first shampoo. There are many types of keratin products. There are animal keratin products that are made from like sheep's wool. There are vegetable keratins that are made from oats and wheats. When you see hydrolyzed protein and hydrolyzed wheat in the ingredient list, that is a form of vegetable keratin. The keratin that I'm using in this session is a form of keratin that mimics human hair keratin, and because of that they have to use formaldehyde to make sure no other bad bacteria grows in the packaging. The keratin process is really threefold. There's a special shampoo you use to clarify the hair and get rid of any impurities, and it really makes the hair dry and tangly. And then there's this keratin solution that you put on the hair, and it makes the hair silky, and you can comb and brush through it and it doesn't break. And then it's the flat iron phase, and really after the flat iron phase there's a fourth phase. You should take them to the shampoo, rinse, and do a hair mask. But with textured hair, girls, it takes hours to do the keratin treatment, and there's no way after I'm finished straightening every single hair that I'm going to take them back to the shampoo bowl and do it all over again. What I do with my clients is I have them come back within 5 days, and then I do their shampoo, rinse, and mask. Once you get a keratin treatment, you'll never want to go back, especially if you have the right technician applying it and you use the proper maintenance products. Like when you have a keratin treatment, you can't use the same shampoo, conditioners, and curly hair products that you used before you had a keratin treatment. The products you use when you have natural hair is not the same products you use when you have a keratin treatment. Or if you have a hair color, especially if you have bleach, you have to use sulfate and salt free. Okay, I'll say that again. You have to use sulfate free and salt free shampoos and conditioners. We carry a whole range of products that we recommend for our hair color clients and our keratin clients. Speaking of hair color, look at this 80% gray hair color that's been transformed to this dimensional brown blonde hair color. I mean, we don't see any traces of gray at the roots. Have you seen the other hair color video? This is a 2-part series. One is the hair color on the gray hair. We use a permanent hair color. And the second video is this one that you're watching, where we do the keratin treatment. Let's recap. This is a keratin treatment on new growth only. We applied the keratin solution to damp hair. We combed it through with a fine tooth comb. That's how you apply keratin treatment. We use a blow dryer to dry the keratin into the damp hair strands, right? And then we go in with the flat iron to smooth and polish and seal the cuticle layer. And that's exactly what's going on right in this clip. I'm using a ceramic flat iron at 400 degrees in the back nape and lower back area. That is the kinkiest part of her hair, and it's the most dense. So I have to put a little extra keratin solution and use a little extra heat. As I move towards the crown and the front section of her hair, I'll be able to drop down to 360 degrees. I'm using 3 flat irons in this keratin smoothing treatment. The smaller 1/8 inch flat iron is to get at that hair closest to the root. That's where most of the new growth is. That 1/8 inch flat iron can get right up close, right to the edge of her scalp without burning. And it goes up to 450 degrees. You can buy the 1/8 inch flat iron on our platform at beautywellnesshaircare.com. After the tiny flat iron, then I go in with our 1/2 inch flat iron that is titanium. Because her hair is thick and it's coarse and it's gray under all of this beautiful brown blonde hair color, it's extremely wiry. So I use the titanium flat iron on her hair. When I'm using the tiny flat iron, the 1/8 inch flat iron, I do a minimum of 5 passes. That is the rule, that is the regulation when you're doing the keratin treatment. On virgin hair, on hair that has not been keratinized before, you want to have at least 5 passes of the flat iron. I continue working my way up from the nape to the crown. I make 1/2 inch wide partings, and I make at least 5 passes of the flat iron. The more passes you make with the flat iron, the silkier the hair will get. Not only is the hair silky, but it gets super, super shiny. And because of that, you'll be able to see sections of the hair that need more flat ironing, right? As you go through, you'll flat iron sections, and then you'll see other sections that need more flat ironing. And with textured hair girls, when the hair is really thick and really coarse and super natural, this can take hours. And that's why it's so expensive to get the keratin smoothing treatment, especially the first time. After you've had it for 2 or 3 times, then it's a lot easier and it's a lot quicker. So therefore, it should cost a little less. But look at that hair color. Look at those roots. It is amazing. This new hair color, it makes her look more youthful. It makes her hair look stronger and healthier and more refreshed. Those ear covers are a lifesaver that allows me to go in tight around her ears without burning her. This keratin treatment, I'm applying this keratin treatment right after a demi-permanent hair color touch-up. And you can apply keratin treatments over anything. I apply keratin treatments after bleach touch-ups, after full bleach sessions. I apply keratin treatment to natural hair. I apply keratin treatment over permanent hair color. I've applied keratin treatment over relaxed hair, over cold wave hair. Keratin is the treatment. They're just amino acids. It's what our hair is made of. And what they do is they surround each hair strand, and it nourishes the hair. It nourishes the hair so the hair becomes calmer and silkier. It's my experience with clients that have keratin treatments, their hair really grows long and luscious. Why is that? Because the amino acids that surround each and every hair strand protects the hair and helps it so that it does not break. Thereby, you realize longer length because the hair is not breaking as much. When a client doesn't want a keratin treatment anymore, all we have to do is give her a series of Olaplex treatments. That's Olaplex products number 1 and 2, the professional bond multipliers. Have you noticed that at the base, I'm causing a bump? I'm putting a bend at the base so that the hair will have more body. You know that we use heat to change the hydrogen and the ionic bonds into a new shape, right? So that's what I'm doing with the hair at the roots. Instead of just flat ironing the hair straight down, I'm adding a bump at the root so that the hair will have more body. We go deeper into the different flat iron techniques in our texture control masterclass. You can learn all about it on our platform at beautywellnesshaircare.com. When you get there and you see the masterclass link, just click it. What this keratin treatment is actually doing, because it's surrounding each and every hair strand with amino acids, it's acting as a heat protectant. So this client likes to get her hair blow dried and flat ironed. She doesn't want to spend all day in the salon. She likes to get in and out. So we go with a flat iron. And the flat iron, what we're doing is we're sealing the amino acids and into the cuticle layers. We're sealing the amino acids into the cuticle layers. We're flattening the cuticle. Now, that's what makes your hair so shiny, when the cuticle layers are compacted and laying flat. And that's what we're achieving with the flat iron phase of the keratin smoothing treatment. Once the hair has been keratinized, it is smooth, it is silky, the cuticle layers are compacted and laying flat, and it reflects light. Not only does it reflect light, but because the cuticle layers are compacted and flat, you don't get any frizz. See, it's when you have porous hair. Porosity just means the abrasion of the cuticle layers. The cuticle layers are open, and when they're open, it's easy for moisture from anywhere, from fog, from cooking at the stove, from being in the shower, in the room with mist. It will cause your hair to revert. But the keratin treatment, it flattens the cuticle layer, it smooths the cuticle layer so that moisture is not getting into that hair strand and causing it to poof. This particular keratin smoothing treatment, it infuses the hair with protein molecules designed to fill in the missing protein content in our hair. Does that make sense? Because of daily wear and stress, age, flat irons, products, all along the hair shaft, we can have gashes, we can have holes, we can have splits, right? And what the keratin does is it mimics our hair's natural keratin, and it fills in those gaps along the hair strand. And when our hair strand is even, when it's full, when there are no holes, where there are no gaps, where there are no weak spots, then our hair will not break. Keratin, it's not like a chemical product. It's not like a chemical relaxer or a chemical cold wave. What the keratin does, it does not structurally change the hair. It just enhances and strengthens the hair for a short time until it completely washes out of the hair, and the hair eventually will revert back to its normal state. Now, when the keratin treatment fades out of the hair naturally, you don't even really notice it. It just, because it's along the entire hair shaft. So you just notice that your hair is not as silky, it's not as tangle free, and it's starting to frizz, right? That's how you know the keratin treatment is no longer in your hair. Now, I recently had a bleach client that I gave a keratin treatment to, and she wasn't used to wearing her hair straight, and she didn't know how to style it any other way than a curly afro. She complained that her hair was too straight and that the keratin made her hair straight, but it wasn't the keratin, it was the bleach. You see, bleach has the same properties as a sodium hydroxide relaxer. It causes the hair to swell. It causes the product to enter into the cortex cell, and the explosion causes one sulfur atom to fall off of a disulfide bond. Disulfide, sulfur. Disulfide bond are two sulfur atoms, right? And relaxers and bleach, when they go in and explode in the cortex layer, what they do is they knock off one of the sulfur atoms, and that's what makes the hair straight. So I hope this client looks at this video so she can understand that it's not the keratin that's making her hair straight, it's the bleach. So now that we understand that it's the sulfur atom that's knocked off of the disulfide bond that makes our hair straight, then we know all we have to do is rebuild those disulfide bonds in order for our curl pattern to return. I've often used bond multipliers to rebuild disulfide bonds, to take straight, frizzy hair and turn it into a healthy, tight, coily curl pattern. All you have to do is use the Olaplex products number 1 and 2, the professional products. They don't sell Olaplex number 1 and 2 to consumers. It's a 2-part series. The first part, item number 1, you can apply to any of your color products, to your demi-permanent, your color, your permanent hair color, your semi-hair color, your bleach. I never bleach clients without Olaplex number 1 or 2. After you process the hair color with Olaplex number 1, you rinse or shampoo the color out and the Olaplex number 1 out. And if you don't need to shampoo, then you can go right in with Olaplex number 2. And if you do have to shampoo, then you can shampoo and then apply the Olaplex number 2. And you know, as a stylist, we're always taking it to the next level. Sometimes when I have to bleach a client, like a double bleach, and it's a 2-day session, I'll often send them home with the Olaplex number 2 in their hair. And when they come back the next day, I either bleach them or I tone them right on top of Olaplex number 2. Like I said, Olaplex number 1 and 2, the bond multiplying treatment, is only a professional item, and it's super expensive. That's why it's an expensive treatment for clients. You can also use the Olaplex number 1 and 2, the bond multiplier, as a standalone treatment. If you have a client whose hair is falling out, breaking as you touch it, water hits it and it just melts, you can give her a series of Olaplex bond multiplier treatments. You can do 2 or 3 treatments in one day, right? You can do a series over 4 weeks and her hair will be fantastic. Let's refocus to this beautiful keratin smoothing treatment. But what's really the star is this hair color. Remember, her hair is 80% gray, and it's something about a keratin treatment that makes levels 5 and below hair colors really pop. Now, if I was doing a bleach, a high level platinum hair color, I would not do the keratin smoothing treatment after the toner. If you're using high level lift blondes, you want to do your keratin treatment before you apply the toner. Now that's hair color game right there. That's the kind of information we go deep into in our hair color masterclass. Now, in beauty school, they didn't really go deep into the eumelanin pigmented hair. Now, the eumelanin pigments are the natural hair color levels 1 through 5. That's darkest black to lightest brown for eumelanin pigmented hair. Now, most of the world has eumelanin pigmented hair. I think Asians, Indian, Africans, Arabs, Italians, Eskimos, American Indian, Mexican, Brazilian, Argentinian, most of the world is eumelanin pigmented hair. But unfortunately, manufacturers, they really don't formulate their product for eumelanin pigmented hair. So if you want to become a master colorist that deals with eumelanin pigmented hair, you should really come check out our master hair color class, because we go deep. We give you the tips to take your level 1 blackest black clients to a beautiful, healthy platinum blonde. And platinum blonde hair color on minorities is really yesterday's news. That was when, hair colors were first experimenting with bleach. Now any barber can give you a buzz cut and take you platinum blonde. But to really do hair color, to do dimensional blondes, to do violet-based blondes, to do beautiful hair color like you see on them housewife shows. Now they have some beautiful blondes on them housewife shows. They pay lots and lots, thousands of dollars for those blondes. Even though most of them are tape-in, they still look beautiful. So I tell my clients when they want a new hair color to not just look at black women hair color. Look at any woman in any magazine or any Pinterest board and look at the dimensional blondes, because solid one color blonde is so over. You want a dimensional blonde that complements your skin tone. And to maintain it, you want to use our Nourishing Lipid Serum. You see, deep within the structure of the hair bulb, our body produces sebum. It's natural lipids that nourishes the hair strand on the inside. And our Nourishing Lipid Serum, it's organic, it's non-GMO, and it mimics the hair's natural lipids. It's lightweight, it's non-greasy, and it nourishes the hair. You can see the difference. While in her hair, after I applied the Nourishing Lipid Serum, before when we were doing the keratin treatment, there were flyaway ends and her hair looked wiry because it's really gray underneath. But once we applied the Nourishing Lipid Serum, it calmed everything down because everything is nourished. This is the before. This was her new growth. This is her natural hair color. She is a level 2 with 80% gray. And this is her natural hair texture. When she came to me, this was her hair texture. And this is how she left. Look at that hair color. It's fantastic. It's enhanced by the keratin smoothing treatment, right? And it's nourished with our Nourishing Lipid Serum. You can buy all of the products that I use on our platform at beautywellnesshaircare.com. And thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them below. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and please share our videos with your best friend, your sister, your mom, your favorite hairdresser, and definitely share it if you know a cosmetology student, one that's going to deal with multi-textured hair. Once again, thank you for watching.